Hey everyone. One thing that we're going to do as part of Leadership Community is to talk with different people in leadership positions to gain wisdom and insight, particularly regarding the topic that we've discussed earlier in the evening. And so tonight we have a very special guest with us. Most of you will probably know him. He attends First Wesleyan Church. His name is Tom White. And Tom is a guy that, for me, has played a large role in my leadership development. Early on, when I started in ministry, I felt like my schooling had prepared me for ministry, but not necessarily for leadership. And so I sought Tom out, and I said, Tom, could we start meeting regularly to talk about leadership? And just the wisdom and insight that I've gained through those times together, I thought, what better way to kick off our leadership interviews than to share, let him share some of that with you. So Tom White, he owns Accurate Heating and Cooling, and he has been doing that for over 30 years now. He's served on several boards. He's a part of many organizations in and around town. Accurate actually does our HVAC here at First Wesleyan Church, so when it's cool on Sunday mornings, you can thank him. When the AC breaks, you can blame Brian Grigsby. And so I'm excited to introduce you to Tom White tonight, because I think he's going to offer so many valuable bullet points that you can take home tonight and take back to your leadership area. So Tom, thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to be with you. And I've done enough talking, so I'm going to let you talk a little bit. What would you say as you lead Accurate? What would you say is your vision for that company?
Well, Andrew, in answer to that question, I'm going to start way back. I'm going to first start by saying God hung with me when I didn't even know that He was preparing me for this. So if I start back in high school, where this all started and I didn't even know it, I was not the best student. I loved sports, but I was not the best athlete. So I learned at that point to surround myself with good people that would make me look better, that were smarter and that were better athletes. Now, roll this forward to my first major job was with Carrier Air Conditioning Corporation. And the reason they hired me was because I had a little bit of a background. I had an engineering degree, and so they hired me into their service engineering program in their headquarters, Syracuse, New York. So I said, well, let me try business for myself. So I went into a partnership and started Accurate, and this was 38 years ago now. And many times, and so the first several years, I was out literally serving customers and fixing furnaces and air conditioners myself. I loved it because I'd run 7 service calls a day and I made 7 customers happy, 7 people. So I was serving people. 5 years later, I buy my partner out and I take on the whole company. And so then God helped me understand my core. And I started to see, which is serving customers. And heating and air conditioning was just my vehicle to serve customers. The next thing He was doing for me is helping me to understand that I want you to play a role in the industry. Many times business people get this rap that all I care about is making money and using people as a commodity or as a vehicle to make more money. And they do unethical things, and you hear sometimes that the definition of success is being a good business person, meaning in a lot of cases they could be unethical, they could be dishonest, they could be using people, they could do a lot of those things. So God helped me understand that no, apply ethical principles and make sure you do this right and drive that through your culture of your company so that everybody is honest. Thus we developed core values, and so this is what the culture we need to develop. That was another very clear point that God made to me. I want you to use Accurate to show people that you can be an ethical, honest business person, and it can be in sync with God's principles and His definition. And then 5 years later, about 5 years ago, He came to me and said, I want you to use Accurate now as a vehicle to lead more people to Christ. And that's employees and customers. And I said, at that point, God, there is no way I could do that. I think of Moses, him going to Moses and asking him to deliver the people out of Egypt. And I'm saying, God, you got the wrong guy. I'm not bold enough. Well, then he started putting good Christians, good strong Christians into the company and into my life that were good business people. So he's provided, and now we're on a roll to do that. So as we expand and as we grow, and we're up to over 60 employees now and still on a very rapid growth, he's making it clear to me what the purpose is and what the vision needs to be with Accurate at this point.
Great. How do you strive to impact the people that work for Accurate?
So, Andrew, what I drive through our culture, we're a service industry. We're only as good as our people are. That's very clear to me, and I need to make sure that's clear to everybody in our organization. We are no better. So they are our most valuable asset, and people have to understand that critically. Because if they don't, then they're going to treat people like a commodity or a piece of equipment, and it isn't going to work. Because our employees are out taking care of our customers, so they're going to go out and take care of our customers the way we take care of them. So it's critically important that we understand that we're only as good as our people. In manufacturing, you get a good piece of equipment, and that's your most valuable asset, because that's what's producing your product or your service, and thus your income. Well, with us, it's our people. And then we help our people understand that we're all working for our customer. And without our customers, we're nothing. And all I'm doing and all management is doing is deciphering what our customers' expectations are and then helping them understand that and meet that.
What are the tools that you use in order to develop the people around you at Accurate?
Okay, Strength Finder is one. So we try and help them identify, and we try and identify what their strengths are. And then Strength Finder helps you put a plan together on that individual. So then a couple more specific things is we try and get them slotted. Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great, talks about getting the right people on the bus, and then, in other words, the right people on the team, and then getting them in the right seat, meaning match them up with what their strength is, and then working with them to develop their strength within that position.
And Tom, you've developed a really unique tool at Accurate that helps you serve the people that are a part of the team at Accurate. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, and that's evolved like a lot of things, Andrew, because in the beginning I was real sensitive to, I didn't want people to get hung up on titles or positions, and so it's what they used to call a flat organizational chart that said everybody is serving a customer, and we all have a job to do, and we're all just as critical to this team as everybody else. From the guy that's sweeping the floors to me as the leader of the company. Nobody is better than anybody else. But I found that as we grew, people need to know who they're working for and who they can identify with and who is their boss, that type of thing. So I started developing and playing around with an organizational chart, and I didn't like any of them. I didn't like titles and things like that. But God gave me this vision one day, and to invert the organizational chart. So the customers were on top, because a traditional organizational chart is you work your way up to the top and you do less and make more. But I flipped that because it was very clear to me that I'm serving everybody, and the more we grow, the more people I have to serve as the leader of the company. And all of them, so our organizational chart is with the customers on top, and then the people that deal with them from the field to their supervisors, to their managers, to their leaders, and where they are all the way to me at the bottom of the organizational chart.
Yeah. Tom, one thing that I've always been impressed with in our meetings together, and as we talk about leadership, one thing that I've always been impressed with is that leadership for you really is about people. And even though you lead an organization, and even though you have goals, and even though you're striving towards something, that never becomes more important than the people that are on your team. How do you keep that in perspective? Because anyone that leads something is going after something, right? We all want something. We're striving towards something. But in that pursuit, how do you keep that in perspective that the people are what are most important?
That's a great question. And it's like all of these things, that's evolving. But where I'm at today that is just making my life so clear is that I spend my God time every morning. And He recharges me, and He re-strengthens me, and He refocuses me every day. Because that's the short answer. That He will help guide me, He'll give me the strength and so forth every day. But I've got to be there every day. If I miss that time, that God time, and I was never a morning person, but of late I'm a morning person because I know how important it is. And what part of that drives me is that Jesus made that decision. That was His own decision. God came to earth in a human form to take on our pain, to take on the sins of the world. And when I sit and think about that, my gosh, if He can come and do that, the least I can do is serve people to a much lesser degree than He served us, or He has served us. So that keeps me focused, but it's every day losing myself and God helping me to lose myself and stay focused on. Another thing that was pivotal for me is that years ago, even that was very clear to me that I'm going to heaven someday. And I can't, if I haven't done the job for somebody, if I haven't earned their respect, I can't look them in the eye. And when I think about spending eternity with God, and if I can't look them in the eye and know that I've been at least tried to be a good and faithful servant, then I can't think about how it would be like, what it would be like if I can't spend eternity with God and I can't make Him proud. You know what I mean? So that started driving me, and then now as I take a deeper dive every day, He helps me be really clear that this is all about people. That's what He did for us, so the least I can do is the same thing for Him.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing when a leader says that they're able to lose themselves. Because that's not the way of the world. That's not the way that the world tells us leadership should happen. Leaders, they say, should be out front, and they should be noticed, and that they matter more than everyone else. But it's a powerful thing when a leader says, I'm just trying to lose myself so that other people can be impacted and so that other people can see Jesus. And that's what we're all about at First Wesleyan Church. That's why we're here, to lose ourselves and to let Jesus take over and to let other people see who He is. So Tom, thank you so much. This has been really, really good. And I know that our leaders at First Wesleyan are going to benefit so much from your wisdom and from the thoughts that you've given us tonight. So thank you so much. Guys, that's all for tonight. You guys are going to pray together before you leave. And I just hope and pray that this time that we've spent with Tom will be beneficial for you in the areas that you lead. Thanks, guys.